Hi all, welcome to the channel Cloud Knowledge. Today in this video, we'll study about a scenario where we want a pipeline in ADF to be executed only once. So we have to schedule the pipeline and trigger it only at a particular time of the day, and then it should not execute. So what is the purpose behind it? We can execute it through a manual run, but it has to be on the particular date and time. So for that purpose, we can create a schedule trigger, and then we have to let it run for once and then stop it for further execution. Let's say we want to perform some copy operation. This is copying data from SQL DB to ADLS account. Okay, a CSV is going to generate, and we want this to be generated on, let's say, a date 25th December 23 at a time, let's say 4 p.m. And then after this should not execute. Only at this particular time it should execute. So this can be done through a trigger, which will be a schedule trigger in ADF. Let's go to the data factory. Here we are in the data factory. This is the pipeline which is copying the data from the Azure SQL database to the ADLS Gen 2 in the form of CSV, and this has to be triggered at a particular date and time and should only execute once. Okay, for that purpose we are going to create a trigger. We can create the trigger from here itself. So from the pipeline we have this option add trigger, which is trigger now. We can trigger the pipeline now, or we have to use this option to create a new trigger. It is giving us options to select the existing triggers or create a new trigger. So we are going to create a new trigger which will execute it only once. So the trigger name is trigger. We can give it as only once. Then the type should be schedule only, because we are going to schedule it for a date and time. Let it be scheduled. Start date and the time zone. Time zone is IST, Indian time zone is showing. We'll let it be Indian time zone. We want it to be executed today, let's say after 10 minutes, and then it should not execute. So the date should be today's date and the time will be, so let's make the time as 14, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and the time as 14:40 p.m. it should execute. Okay, that is 2:40 p.m. The current time is 2:36. Then recurrence, it should not recur every 15 minutes. So it's a day-wise trigger. Okay, then here it should not recur, so we'll let it be 1. So we have changed the recurrence to a day and every day. So the schedule time is 14:40, and we'll specify here the end date. We'll check on this option end date, and it should end on 25th. So the important setting is specifying the end date. If we have specified the end date as tomorrow's date, that means it will only be going to execute today at this scheduled time. So this specify an end date option is important to schedule the trigger or the pipeline only once. Okay, start trigger on creation. This is fine. We'll click on OK. We'll click on OK and make sure it should be published. Click on OK and publish quickly, so that the changes in the trigger are published. Publishing is in progress, and within 2 minutes we should see the execution of this pipeline in the triggered runs. So we'll go to another tab and we'll open the monitor section here, and under the pipeline runs, after 2 minutes we'll come back and see whether it has the triggered execution run of the pipeline or not. So let's wait for 2 minutes. So 2:40 p.m. has crossed, and we can refresh under the triggered pipeline runs section, and we could see the execution of the pipeline CSV without headers. Trigger only once has executed it. Execution completed in 19 seconds has succeeded. So we can go to the output and see that the file has been generated or copied. Yes, at the time which we have scheduled. So yeah, we can see that the output file has landed into the folder, target folder, the sync at the desired time 2:40, and this should not now run again. this has to be triggered only at this date and time. So this requirement of execution of the pipeline only once is attained by using the scheduled trigger of ADF and specifying the end date. Hope you have understood it. Thank you for watching the video. Happy learning. Bye.